Let me see you try.
Oh boy, here we go. It is Mr. Young.
And it's foreign in the building. How are you, Mr. Young?
I'm doing all right. All I have to say is, look in my eyes. What do I see? Tony Khan giving me lots of money.
It's a good time to be a CM Punk, and it's a good time to be a CM Punk fan, bro.
What's going on, everybody? I hope you're doing all right. Welcome to the podcast. Oh, the chat is buzzing already over on YouTube. Div Royalty, hello. Muhammad Daniel. Edison, it's always good to see you. Tovakin, what's up? Fierce. Yo,
we got our usuals in the house. I know you guys are getting juicy all up in this place.
John, how are you, by the way? Div Royalty says haven't watched, finish watching. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Haven't watched, finish Raw yet. I haven't even started watching Raw, let alone finish, bro.
Let us know how Raw was. I heard there was two damn good matches. Apparently we had Gunther versus Kevin Owens.
Ooh.
So that should be a banger. And then, of course, the main event, Damian Priest challenging Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight title, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, how good does it sound to have Damian Priest in the main event challenging for the world title? Like, we all know he's not going to win, but still, it's like, okay, it's a step up already. Like, it's like, I can see that maybe they think that this guy has potential, right?
I know it's good for Div Royalty, especially.
That is true. It's good to see you, Rishi, as well. How you guys doing? Samoan
What's up,
Spike.
guys?
Edison says, acknowledge your podcast, boys, or else I Samoan Spike. The one, ride or die. Day one.
I love it. Guys, thank you so much for always supporting us. You all are our day ones. This is on our 16th episode here for this season, Mr. Young.
Yeah,
Season 6.
Bro,
Woo!
it's perfect. You know, the Marvel main universe is what? 616. This episode, 616. Main continuity, bro.
Bro, is this across the Spider-Verse only or just... You see that segue there, bro?
I know. And not only that, right? Get this. Today is the 6th of June. 616. Bro!
Oh, hey guys, can buy 4D today, bro. Listening to this podcast.
Hey,
Perfect timing.
3 episodes later, we need to do a Booyaka special.
Oh yeah, 619. Slowly.
Today all about the numbers. What is this numerology podcast? What's going on?
Numero uno, bro. Wait. First of all, I wanted to ask you, have you checked out the new Spider-Man movie, bro?
No time, bro. I've been so busy. I will try to catch it this week. I will try to do something I've never done before, bro. And you know what that is?
What is that, bro?
Go to the theater and buy tickets as opposed to booking online. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what's up with this new change of routine, Mr. Young?
Because I happen to have these free complimentary passes that I got, and I want to use them, but I can only show up there and buy tickets. Cannot book in advance one.
Okay. So going old school this week.
And I'm thinking that because I will always try to watch at afternoon, people at work busy, then can find seats. You know what I'm saying?
I got a question, Mr. Young. How do I convince my girlfriend who doesn't like animated movies to watch this show? I want to try to convince her that this is actually a good movie. But how?
Has she not watched the first one?
No, she hasn't watched the first one as well.
Alamak, okay, get her to watch the first one. I believe it's on Disney Plus already. The first one will convince her. Like, personally, I'm not a huge fan of animated movies like this as well. But when you see how, and I know your girlfriend is a very the artistic sort, right? She appreciates artisticness. And you remember the first one, like it looked amazing.
Of course. Yes. Everything is a graphic oil painting like that, right?
And then the music as well. Confirm she will like.
Okay. Thanks. I will clip this and I'll send it to her later.
Happy birthday, Muhammad Daniel. Yesterday was his birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Yo, happy birthday, my bro. How old are you, bro? Are you like hitting the 30s? Where are you at right now? Let us know. Ask
If you
people to
want to tell
reveal their
us.
age.
That's why, yeah. Okay, as always, the Discord link is in the description. If you haven't joined us on Discord yet, what are you waiting for? Come and join the group, the family, and talk wrestling anytime you want. Join the bloodline. It's in the Discord.
Yeah, man, because the bloodline is gonna like break up soon, lah. So might as well we start our own bloodline. I'm still young.
Okay, so yeah, we got that, and then we got our Patreon link as well. You can join us. Extend your support for the podcast. However you can, we appreciate it. All right, guys.
Yeah, of course, for sure. Okay, let's dive right into the news because we got some big news stories coming out from this past week. Yeah, Mr. Young.
Big news as it relates to AEW and also WWE. Which one do you want to jump into first? That's the question.
I think let's do chronological order. So I guess right out of Double or Nothing, the last episode we damn crazy, bro. We review how many we had like almost a 3-hour podcast reviewing both Night of Champions and Double or Nothing, right?
Right.
And then just nice as we were recovering, AEW Dynamite came on, and for the third week in the row, our favorite guy Tony Khan had an announcement to make. Thanks, guys.
Okay, so at this point, right, when it comes to his special announcement, right, it's less cringe the more he does it, but still is very cringe. Like he's obviously standing there in front of a teleprompter reading off a script, but if this is the if this is the extent of his announcements, I can take it lah. It's fine, like it's not so bad
Okay,
lah.
fine.
Okay,
If it's 2 minutes out of the entire show, he just talk like this,
Yeah.
still okay lah.
Sure,
All right.
fine, right? But okay, so the big announcement, and I know you're a big fan, and a lot of people are excited. CM Punk returns to AEW, making his big return, of course, in the United Center in Chicago, his hometown, for AEW Collision.
What's your thoughts on the way this was announced?
I don't know, man. Like, I think the reason they didn't make it a surprise is that ticket sales are very bad, very very bad, right? So they're like,
Yes,
hey,
so
shit, we need to pull out our biggest gun, and especially in Chicago, CM Punk is your big gun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a combination of that. Like, they're trying to get some buzz going forward. But also, I feel like maybe they're trying to get an early gauge of what the reception of CM Punk's return is going to be like, right?
Sure. I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, is it really any surprise that he is going to start drawing the money? And some people are saying, Edison is saying, he feels like Punk is going to get the booze. Not in Chicago. Definitely not in Chicago. Okay. See, here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
They could have, like, with his injury and everything, like, obviously he first got injured before the whole, was it All In or All Out? That
All
media
In.
scrum. All In media
Yes.
scrum, right?
Sorry, all out.
All Out, right. I mean, if the EVPs weren't such children about it, they could have made it so much bigger. They could have worked this into an angle and made money. But they are just way too... Okay, the reason that the live crowd reaction was so meh, it's because most of the people who watch AEW now are the diehards. They are the Young Buck fans, right? And there's, like we've talked about, there's only a cap to that number already. CM Punk was bringing everybody else in. And so now, if your crowd is only the diehards, then of course they're going to hate CM Punk, right? So the Young Bucks have successfully poisoned the well, made fans turn on CM Punk.
Yeah, one thing a lot of people don't realize as well, they had the Dynamite in San Francisco apparently, which is like California, which is the West Coast, which is Punk, which is Young Bucks country, right? Because that's where PWG have most of their shows. So I wasn't surprised there was a mixed reception, but I'm actually surprised that there was actually cheers in that arena for CM Punk.
I mean, at the end of the day, CM Punk is still a huge draw. Even within Young Bucks fans, there are going to be CM Punk fans. You know what I mean? So I'm not surprised at that. But the bigger question I feel like is, okay, he's back. He's going to pop a rating. I'm sure they're doing it to pop a rating. This is the debut episode. We all remember the debut episode of Rampage. CM Punk comes in. Oh, huge ratings. And then, from then on, downhill slide. So my question to you is, yes, you bring back CM Punk, hopefully with some sort of angle for him, but is it going to do much in the long term?
Yeah. I'm almost feel like it's inevitable, like they can't do anything else but to turn him heel.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's no other way to justify why he's been absent. Like he can't just go back and suddenly end up playing the babyface that nothing happened. I mean,
While
if yeah,
he can always say that he was injured after the match, and they technically don't need to reference the backs, but they will because that's their style, right? They're all the fans are smart. But
yeah,
then again, to a lot of people, he was the good guy in that whole situation. And let's face it, honestly, okay, when you talk about a feud between the Young Bucks and CM Punk, let's say the Young Bucks finally like, okay, let's work together, right? Even if that does happen, like, oh, this is gonna be so money drawing. Unless they tell that story to the mainstream audience, people are not gonna know. This is just gonna be one of those, oh, you know, I know sort of a feuds. We'll know, but nobody else will know.
yeah. I feel like Pound being a great orator, storyteller that he is, right?
Yeah.
He can easily craft the conflict straight away, right?
Yes.
I almost want him to do a Chris Jericho 2012. I don't know whether you remember when he returned that year.
Yeah.
He had this very cryptic, "It's the end of the world as you know it," super
Oh,
cryptic.
right,
And then
right.
when he returned to the ring, right? Of course he got cheered because it was the first time in like 2 years that he returned. But then after he go rara the crowd, go one round around the ring, and then as he was about to pick up the mic, right?
Mm.
He stared into the camera, he dropped the mic and he walked away without a single word.
So he turned his back lah on the fans and whatever. Now, okay, here's the thing,
Yeah.
right? And if you think about it, it takes two to tango. Look,
Yeah.
if CM Punk turns heel, it doesn't matter what alignment he is. We know that he can talk, he can put
Mm-hmm.
seats in butts. Seats in butts. Butts in seats.
Butts in
The other
seats,
way
bro.
around.
Butts in seats.
We
Yeah.
know he can get the reaction, right?
Yeah.
Do you think his opposition can or not? Do you think the Young Bucks, anybody will see them as baby faces?
I tell you, if Punk can make the elite, right, beloved babyface, I think he's the best in the world, really, at what he does, bro.
Exactly. And he's not going to want to anyway, right? For
Yeah.
all intents and purposes, like through the dirt sheets and whatnot, it seems like he wants to work with Jay White. Thank goodness. At least you put Jay White somewhere where he is featured prominently instead of, in a battle royale with Orange Cassidy and losing.
Yeah. I mean, it's also a timing thing as well. Of course, Forbidden Door coming up,
Yeah.
it makes sense that Punk's first feud is gonna be like a New Japan related opponent.
Yep.
Well, if he's gonna be the headliner of this new Collision show, right? I feel like he will set a lot of the direction of what is gonna happen for this show. But again, I do not know whether as a heel, like is he gonna be like a Roman Reigns type of like all conquering heel? I run this show. How is it gonna work? I'm not too sure.
I don't think it works for him because physically he can't impose himself, in that way. He has to be a cerebral heel.
Yeah.
He has to be the cerebral assassin. He has to play the game.
Yeah, yes, I almost feel like he should get himself a bodyguard. He should get himself a
Hobbs.
powerhouse Hobbs. Yes.
Bro, we are on the
Yeah.
same line of
Same,
thought.
same.
Get Hobbs away from this shithole that is the what is it? Nightmare Factory, the QT Marshall and his group, the factory. QTV nonsense. Get him away. Put him with somebody like a CM Punk who can teach him a thing or two on how to work. And holy shit, imagine just give Hobbs to CM Punk for a few months. The amount of good that could do for someone like a Hobbs.
Yeah. Okay, this is gonna be difficult because I think both of us are leaning towards turning Punk kind of a tweener or a heel, right? But how do you book a babyface Punk return?
I think he just needs to return. Honestly, in Chicago, he just needs to return. And I think also CM Punk is the sort of guy that is beyond heel or face at this point. He can come out and be a little bit more acidic with his comments, but people will still cheer him. People will either like him or hate him. He's going to be one of those guys, like a John Cena. He'll divide the crowd, and depending on who he's working against, he'll lean more towards one side or the other and be very real, blah, blah, blah. Typical Punk things. You know what? Honestly, the best thing for business is to just have him away from the elite and let the two shows just be separate shows booked by separate people. The rumor I read was that Collision is going to be booked by like CM Punk and Bryan Danielson and less Tony Khan. So, I mean, Collision could be the AA show.
Yeah, I mean, of course, there's also the talk about Ace Steel being a huge part of his storylines going forward, and also a bit of the show in Collision as well. So, if they, for example, they really separate the shows based on philosophy, wrestling philosophy. Like, okay, AEW Dynamite is gonna be the indie style, like the elite style, but it's gonna be like party wrestling, and they're gonna go all out in that area.
Yep.
And then if Collision is like the old school wrestling style, because I heard as well one of the issues that Cody Rhodes have was he wanted to make AEW like old school southern wrestling,
Right,
territory
right,
wrestling,
right.
and of course, Punk. Sorry, the Bucks had a very different vision. They wanted it to be like West Coast California party style wrestling, right? PWG.
I.e. indie shit,
Yeah.
which
So
is what they've
so
been doing.
so I think the best way to find out which really works is to let them compete with each other and see who really can have the bigger audience. I know it might divide the AEW audience, but I also feel like they will know where they want to go for good shows. Like last time we watched SmackDown for the great wrestling, we watched Raw for the drama, right?
Yeah. I mean,
So
I
yeah.
wonder though, like, how does that work? Let's say, okay, Dynamite and Collision are booked by different people. So do you have
Mhm.
separate rosters, or do you have the same people floating back and forth? But it's going to be very weird if one day Brian Danielson is booked one way, and then another day Brian Danielson is booked a different way. You know what I mean?
I feel like maybe they can do a floating champion system where
Okay.
only the champions get to go on both shows.
Mm-mm.
That will make a lot of sense. And I think AEW can do it better than WWE because they don't have. I know they have a lot of titles, but they don't have as many titles as WWE.
Wait, what are you talking about? They have every single title.
Oh
This
my
is
god!
Tony Khan we're talking about.
Don't count Ring of Honor. Don't count AAA or please. It's stress, bro.
Yeah, right. So I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, right? Honestly, it is a situation where we need to wait and see what they can
Mm.
do. You know, as much as we want to say, "Oh, CM Punk is going to be the savior of AEW," he's only one man, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to have him come out and do what 45-minute promos and matches every single week. Cannot. People get sick of him. So
Uh,
it needs to be a thing of the culture of that show. So
yeah.
the idea of who's booking Rampage and nobody, bro, nobody.
Bro, Rampage is like Chapalang, bro. Chapalang, bro.
Rampage is WWE superstars. It's main event. Nobody watches that shit anymore, right?
Probably
So
QT Marshall, QT
yeah,
Marshall is
yeah.
booking it.
So it really boils down to what kind of work culture you have within the two shows, like and the booking and stuff like that. So it's gonna be very interesting to see. I just hope that yes, if you're gonna have separate booking committees, then you really need separate rosters because
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, you're gonna have Miro show up on Collision with a solid storyline, and then next week he shows up on Dynamite and plays video games. Like, huh?
Mm.
It's not gonna work, you know?
Yeah, okay. One thing I trust about Punk, right? Even though yes, he has his issues on his own, right? But he has never been shy about putting people over and elevating other talents, right?
Well, as long as they deserve it, they're hardworking and they can work in the ring. We know that if he doesn't like somebody, he will be very obvious about it, man.
Yeah, but I mean that's fair. I mean you don't want to put over an asshole, right? But let's look at his track record from AEW, right?
Sure.
Even every single opponent he's fought with has been elevated. You look at Darby Allin, was elevated after his program. Eddie Kingston was the hottest he's ever been after CM Punk. And then Chris Jericho fuck it up. I'm so sorry. and then look at everything. Remember he talked about Sen Hook, Starks, Hobbs, like all of these people just by being mentioned around him, got put over. Even
Yeah.
Britt Baker got put over. So I don't doubt his track record of like, okay, if all these people in this roster of Collision is under his kind of leadership, they will definitely be elevated. But it's more of what they do with them after the fact.
But yes, back to my point earlier. And it seems like all signs point towards them having the same roster. If that is the
Yeah.
case, then you're gonna have some really weird continuity, like two different universes. You know?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, right? So you have. It's like I don't envy Tony Khan. So at this point, he's probably gonna have two sides: one devil, one God whispering into his ear. You know that whole scenario where it's like, no, you should get them to do this, get them to do that, you know? And then you have Brian Danielson, who's like a nice guy who will acquiesce to anybody and everybody, right?
Yeah.
So I think that is an issue. I think Tony Khan needs to be a boss. He needs to be a leader here and not everybody's friend. That is the main issue here. The second he nuts up and starts telling people off or, being objective about certain things, that's when we can see growth in AEW. CM Punk is not going to be able to do it all on his own.
Correct. I do have a very interesting like DM exchange with one of our listeners, Jason from Brunei, right? I'm not sure if he's in this chat, but he's very against like CM Punk returning. He was saying like, well, really, CM Punk has gotten Tony Khan by the ball sack, man. What's gonna happen if CM Punk gets injured again, or he throws another tantrum and he leaves? How are they gonna survive, right? I mean, that is a very fair statement and question to ask. Like, say CM Punk for some reason he's suddenly not happy with Sammy Guevara. You know what I mean? And then he's like, fuck this guy, and then he walks away. Like AEW needs to prepare for that possibility because it seems like a legitimate risk, right?
Well, here's the thing. Would you rather have a CM Punk or an Elite? Let me give you an example. CM Punk, in the short amount of time that he was there, he elevated how many people? How many people have the Young Bucks elevated? That's all the proof you need that, in my view, I would rather have a CM Punk for 6 months than Elite for 3 years.
Yeah, okay. Young Bucks has definitely devalued FTR.
Yeah.
They have devalued. I think Lucha Bros also wasn't elevated thanks to them.
Nope.
Yeah, nothing else. Right.
Because they are in the business of putting on indie spot shows where they come out, make themselves look good, do all these flippity, and that's it. They have no idea how to build for the future. And look, if you love them, you love the spots, that's fine. Very athletic, very entertaining for some people, right? But it is, you can't argue that they've made nobody. Look at the state of AEW right now. Literally no main event stars. The last pay-per-view is a drastic indictment of that very fact.
No tag teams were made thanks to Young Bucks as well. Because even though they wanted to create the best tag team division over there, right?
They wanted to create the best tag team division. They were not over. They held down FTR. And then they're like, all right, you know what? We're going to drop these titles and make the trios titles. And guess what? The trio titles? Nothing. Useless.
Nothing.
Garbage.
House of Black. Nothing doing as well.
Exactly. So, really, it is not the hate for the Bucks, bro. Don't get me. I know it sounds like I hate them and I do not enjoy their style. But hear me out. Some people need to be... some people are talent and terrible leaders. They are good at what they do, but they are terrible leaders. I feel like the Bucks are exactly that. Tony Khan needs to stop being their friend and be their boss. Tell them what to do.
Okay, you know what? I have a great football reference for this, man.
Sure.
Bro, I think Young Bucks, right, is like the Frank Lampard of wrestling, bro.
Okay, please explain.
I will explain so you can appreciate, because you are a previous Chelsea fan, right, Mr. Young?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so of course everyone agrees Frank Lampard is one of the best midfielders in the world when he was in his prime, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he has since gone on to management and he has managed Chelsea twice and he sucks balls, bro. He sucks balls, bro. The first time he got fired after like less than a year or a year and a half. And then this recent one, he came back as an interim. He lost majority of his matches and basically he just made his reputation even worse. But then like all the Chelsea fans like very like heart pain to criticize him because like that's our hero, bro. That's our favorite player. So yeah, I get it. He's like the Young Bucks is like the Frank Lampard of wrestling, bro.
Sure, I would have never, connected the two, but I guess that makes sense, right? I mean, the problem, like I said, doesn't matter whether I like or don't like the Young Bucks. It's not that. The problem is not that. The main problem is Tony Khan. And if he just, was like, okay, you know what, guys, we've had enough fun for the 3 years, but I need to think about this as a business and do this properly as a promoter. I don't even think splitting the rosters is a good thing, because at some point people are going to be like not happy. Say, hey, look, they're doing so well over at Collision, or Dynamite is getting more airtime because they are on a better spot because it's a weekday. This is how you build resentment in any sort of organization, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you put down one to bring up the other, right? I have this very interesting question then. Like, would you put Kenny Omega in the same spot as the Young Bucks? Because you said the Young Bucks haven't put over or push any sort of talent. But as Kenny Omega as a single wrestler on his own, do you think he can put over talent?
I've already... as in Kenny Omega himself putting over talent? No. I think he needs a good booker. He's obviously very talented, but he needs a good booker or to work with someone like CM Punk. Honestly, if you are able to take Kenny Omega and put him over to Collision to work programs with CM Punk and Bryan Danielson, I think that would do wonders for him. instead of always being stuck with his friends. And, we are all guilty of this. Even though we know something is better for us, we just want to be with our friends and do the same old thing we've done for, how many years, right? It's comfort zone. And I feel like the elite, that group, they've all sort of settled into this comfort zone. I can guarantee you, Starks and Hobbs, all these guys that wanted to listen, wanted to improve, wanted to grow, they confirm, they're like, hey, please send me over to Collision. Please let me go over there.
Let me give you an example of somebody, right, because he chose to be with his friends, right, has regressed completely, bro.
Okay, is this a football analogy again?
No, it's not. No, it's a wrestler. This time it's gonna stick to a wrestler.
Tell me.
Your favorite NXT champion, bro. Your former NXT guy.
Oh my god.
Come on, let's be honest.
Adam Cole, baby. Oh my god. Okay, you all know I love Adam Cole, Undisputed Era, Black and Gold era, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. This is a classic case. When he was in NXT, the pressure was on. Triple H, obviously Triple H likes him, but also they put the pressure on him to perform, look good, and
of course.
stuff like that. And now that he's with his friends, I don't know if he's sick or anything, because from everything I've read, he's a very nice guy, right? But he looks like, bro, you look like you could take him out. You look like
hey,
you could
bro.
take him out.
Come on, bro. What you underestimate, bro? Of course I can. No,
but when that match with Chris Jericho, I try to erase it from my mind, because these are two of my favorites, and they're like two sloths in there.
Okay, like Chris Jericho versus Adam Cole at any other year, maybe like 2018. Like when Chris Jericho just went to Japan and Adam Cole was at the top of NXT, I think it would have been an awesome match.
Correct.
For sure. But 2023 version of both of them, a bit like, a bit poor thing lah to see that match, to be honest.
Bro, the chat is popping off with puns. It's hilarious.
More like the Doom.
More like Doom. Undisputed Era. Not Undisputed Error.
Wow, you guys are so smart, right? Respect.
Oh my god. And that's why, by the way, if you're listening to the podcast, you should join us on the live stream as well. It's always a lot of fun.
Yeah,
but yes, so like, there is something to be said, lah, bro. I think we can all, as much as we love certain wrestlers, they're great people. Sometimes the pressure needs to be put on them to go and work out, to look good, because at the end of the day, it's a visual art as well. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. But what would you say to people who say like, oh, Chris Candido was a small wrestler, but like, why you never make fun of him, or why people never make fun of Spike Dudley but make fun of Adam Cole for being skinny? You know what I mean? What would you say to those people?
Because Spike Dudley was never positioned in the WWF anyway. He was never positioned as somebody who could have competitive matches with Kane. Like, Spike Dudley was literally there to get tossed around, as he should be, because this is a performance of a fight. And if you try to make it completely unbelievable, this goes back to my whole Riho issue. I never had any problem with Riho when she was facing Alexis Lee here in Singapore, when she's going up against people of her size. But when she's beating and actually handling Nyla Rose or Jamie Hayter, like, what are you trying? What are you like? Does she have superpowers? Are you telling me she's an alien? Like, what? Come on, man.
Yeah, the problem with someone like Adam Cole, his face, his hair, everything about him from the top, from the head on top, right? It's like, okay, main eventer, because he got the looks, he got the charisma, his verbal skills. But when you like zoom out and show his entire body, like, hey, why so small? You know what I mean?
And here's the thing, right? Like, you look at Shawn Michaels, he's a small guy as well, skinny, but at least he looks athletic. You know?
Yeah. When I was young, right, I never thought Macho Man was small. I never thought Chris Jericho was small. Even though he was like facing The Rock or what, I never thought he was like short.
Yeah, because they had like, they had like
physique,
tone, and they were ripped and stuff like that. Like when you, for example, you run into someone like Chris Benoit. Like, dude is short, but he's thick, right? And you know that he works out, and obviously, he could tear you limb from limb lah. But like now when you look at Adam Cole, he, like, I hate saying this because I know a lot of us here are gamers. I'm a gamer as well. He looks like your stereotypical gamer that never sees the sun.
Even Rey Mysterio, right? Yeah, we all understand he's a little man, but he's always in shape. Athletic.
I mean, okay, to be honest, that one point when he was getting the major push, he like, woo, all of a sudden he that quite big
Oh yeah,
size,
yeah,
right?
yeah. He
But
got this that steroids in the body, you know.
allegedly Mexican
Well,
supplements.
okay,
Uh,
okay.
but yeah, I mean, now he still looks great. He's in shape. Adam Cole is not in shape, and
Yeah,
this is not about
unfortunately.
body shaming and all that kind of stuff. This is a performance art. If you look
Uh,
like crap and move like crap, this just all looks like a joke.
Yeah. Provoking us a legit question. What about Orange Cassidy? Would you consider Orange Cassidy's physique like not there as well?
He's still lean. At least he's still lean. But I mean, that's the other thing, like Orange Cassidy also, right? Like when you put him up against a powerhouse Hobbs,
Yeah.
honestly, don't expect you don't have him beat Hobbs. He needs to be smart. He needs to be quick.
Mm,
How Rey Mysterio won his matches lah.
yeah. Even like someone like Darby Allin, right? I think that lean physique works for him because
Yeah.
he relies on being an underdog. He relies on being
Yep.
quick and
And
like doing all this crazy shit, right?
yeah, and that's he's got the Jeff Hardy vibe where he's like you don't know what he's gonna do. He might like do something crazy, skateboard his, face into a wall, whatever lah.
Yeah, like I can believably feel that WLN can go toe to toe with Gunther and be smart about it,
Yeah,
and they can actually have a believable match. But for Adam Cole, I feel it's the way he wrestles. He
Mm.
wants to come across like a main eventer when he wrestles,
correct.
but he can't pull it off because of his current physique.
What it's that indie mindset, what? Oh, everyone is equal opportunity. Like, no, not really. And there's more of a story to be told. You're really taking people out of the reality of trying, like,
Yeah.
yeah. I hate that mentality of, oh, everyone knows it's a work anyway, so let's just be as outrageous as possible. No, you still have to keep it within the realm of possibility. If not, then yeah, like, then okay lah. Then I can step into the ring and, beat the statement. Like, no, look at the
No,
difference
no,
in
no.
size, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't even try. No, no, like even let me admit something to you, bro. Like I know, everyone knows I'm a big CM Punk
Yeah,
fan,
yeah.
but to be really honest,
Mm.
I don't really like his GTS as his finisher
No, you're right.
because
Mm,
yeah, because I feel like he is not known for his power moves,
yeah,
and to lift someone over his shoulders is technically should be reserved for a power wrestler, right? And
exactly.
and yeah, because how can he do it to somebody like I don't know, like a Big Show? If he does it to Wardlow or Power Hobbs, I really feel it's really unbelievable.
Correct. I mean, we've talked about it before. The best moves are those that suit you and also you can pull off at any given time. That's why the RKO is, to me, still the best move of all time. You can pull it off on anybody, everybody from any angle.
Yes, agree, agree. Even like Switchy Music when it was just Shawn Michaels doing it was an ultimate awesome finisher, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Anaconda Vice for Life, says Rishi. I mean, I do love my submission finishers, but it doesn't have that shock value. Like that's the
Mm,
thing about like a stunner, like boom, bam, and it's over, or rock bottom, boom, it's over, right? Like
yeah,
with
I
a
love it as well.
submission, it's like it works for certain people, lah.
Yeah. Okay, let's put a bow on this CM Punk discussion. Like,
Yeah.
I also want to ask the chat about this as well. Overall, do you think CM Punk returning is good for business? Like, bottom line.
Yeah.
That's what I
Okay.
want to know.
Is it good for business? Good or not? Just throw that into the chat.
Yeah,
Let us
let us
know.
know. Let
Let's
us
see
know.
which way the wind blows here. I will say it's good for business, but only if Tony Khan wakes up his idea. Because if Tony Khan runs the same thing, does the same thing that he's always done, right? I can tell you, there's going to be another press conference where there's going to be another meltdown, and it's going to happen again.
Yeah. Let's ask this question as well. Like, do you think, right, when he returns,
Mm.
will the CM Punk eventually stand in the ring toe to toe with the elite or not? Will they have that confrontation or not? Do
If
you
you
think
talk
so?
if you talk about elite, right? I say maybe Kenny Omega, but not the Young
Mm-hmm.
Bucks. I don't think CM Punk would even trust the Young Bucks. And he's at that
Mm-hmm.
point in his life where he doesn't need to take that sort of risk because
Mm,
so not with the Bucks, certainly not with Hangman Page. Ugh. Like I'm sorry,
yeah.
after this whole thing with Hangman, right? I can never look at Hangman the same. I would rather you turn him heel at this point because like,
Mm,
like
yeah. That Hangman that all of us rooted for to become the world champion feels like a different person than the Hangman right now. Because
no,
that guy we all wanted to support
yeah.
and make him the top guy.
Yeah, now
Yeah.
it's like we found out that this guy is actually a bit of a sniveling bitch, right? And it's like, ugh, I don't want to support him anymore.
Yeah, it's a bit tough. Like, it's a bit tough. So I tell you, like the number of people that like genuinely you want to support in AEW gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Yeah, and maybe I don't know whether CM Punk being there. I think it's like that chemical reaction. Like
Yeah, yeah.
last time they all kumbaya, so happy, but you know that it's always gonna be a ceiling to it. But then when you
Mm.
bring in competition or you bring in somebody like CM Punk who's gonna like shock the system, right? No pun intended, right? Like you will feel like okay, this is where you step up because now you have the one of the best
Yep,
there trying to show up everyone. Everyone has to step up. Right? That's the
yep.
whole point of being in a competitive environment, right?
And when someone like that steps up, you are bound to step on toes because people are going to be like, oh, but, and then jealousy comes into play straight up. Some people just don't like some people, right? And that's
Yeah,
exactly what has happened already. So, will it happen
yeah.
again? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. It's going to be interesting times, but not because I want to watch Dynamite. It's because I want to hear the backstage news.
Oh yeah. So who's has a very good point as well, a counterpoint. CM Punk old already. He do lariat also like chialat. Like so yeah, what do you think about CM Punk? He's an older guy, he's getting injured a lot.
Bro,
What's the point of him being there then?
he he can influence the culture. That's the big one, right? Work
Mm.
with younger talents like your FTR, contemporaries like Brian Danielson have one of those have matches once a month. He doesn't have to have matches every single week. That's the thing, right? Like there's
Mm.
this assumption that what he's gonna come back and wrestle every week. No lah. Like remember the MJF CM Punk feud?
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
barely touched each other and it built to a boiling point, right? And
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the sort of smart booking and smart angles that he can bring to the table, So
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter that he's old. Yeah, he's not going to be performing at the level he once was, but the whole idea is to put over young talent, and that's what I want to see. And he has done more to do that, just to go back to that point, because I can't stress this enough. He has done more to elevate talent than the Young Bucks have done so in 3 years.
Yeah, yeah. Like even to be honest, he has done more to elevate talent than anyone in the company. Like, save for Cody Rhodes. I mean, Cody Rhodes did
Yep,
it, but I feel like it was to his detriment. Like
yep.
Cody Rhodes didn't know how to keep himself over while putting other people over, which he needed to learn, lah.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, and we see like that Cody is the type of guy that needs a platform like the WWE who can push him to that, mega star status. But
Yeah.
obviously, a lot of people are going to watch Collision to see what CM Punk says. But
Mm-hmm.
it's only one episode. It really is. The follow up is just as important, if not more important, than this one episode of Collision.
Yeah, like I think at the end of the day, right? Whether there's gonna be multiple ways that AEW can play it, right? If you bring him back as a baby face, bring him back as a heel. Oh my god, I even had this one thought. What if they bring him to face MJF and everyone thought they're gonna renew the rivalry? Instead, two-man power trip, bro. Woo!
Oh, then they need
That,
another title. What title would they use?
no lah, I would feel like CM Punk and MJF together as like these twin terrors,
Ah,
like terrorizing everyone. I think it would be funny because I think MJF is like no, CM Punk is like, at the end of the day, you're right, I'm done playing nice, and then he becomes a bad guy with MJF. I think that would be dope. But yeah, if AEW plays this right, they can have a really great summer to like bounce back from like this past year lah, of like mediocrity. Let's be honest, right?
yeah, and then heading into Wembley as well, that could be big. To be honest, okay, at this point though, what is your hype level for Forbidden Door? Because okay, I have the same problem as I did last year, and whatever the previous Forbidden Doors, right? Is that
Mm-hmm.
I don't know enough about New Japan to salivate over some of these matches. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, I saw on social media, Brian Danielson already kind of has an opponent.
Yes, yes, he has challenged Okada actually to a
Mm.
match.
So
Yeah.
I know them by name, obviously, but I'm like, is there a history there? I hope they start telling these stories, because if not, then it's gonna be the same thing. You're just appealing to this crowd that knows, and everyone else don't care.
Yeah, I mean, okay, Brian Danielson and Okada, of course, it's gonna be a great match. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a banger match, right? And of course, I watched the promo. I really like the line that Brian said, like, you call yourself the Rainmaker, but when you're fighting with me, you're in the fucking desert. There
Mm.
ain't gonna be any rain. I mean, like, okay, they can tell their stories. I appreciate that, but right, what's the biggest thing that they need to get?
What?
They need to get MJF on the card, because
Ah,
MJF, if you realize, every single press club he's been saying he hates New Japan, right?
right.
he say like, New Japan sucks. I ain't gonna work with any of these like schmucks. I hate New Japan.
Mm.
What if, right, you put MJF against like the ace of New Japan, somebody like Tanahashi. You know what I mean? I think it'd be super funny because like, yeah, it's literally like he will be the de facto villain, and all the New Japan fans will be like, oh my god, don't touch our hero, don't touch our Tanahashi. But he can call him out for being an old guy. So I think if they do this right,
Yep.
then they can create intrigue for both AEW fans and New Japan fans.
Well,
But again, depends on the team lah.
It'll be an interesting time because when Forbidden Door happens, it's also like around that same week of AEW Fight Forever, the video game comes out too. So it's like, okay, there's a lot of AEW hype leading into the last week of June, which is also my birthday month and birthday week, by the way.
Yeah, so are you gonna spend your birthday week watching Forbidden Door and playing Fight Forever? Being an AEW mark?
We'll definitely play AEW Fight Forever just to check it out and see. I mean, a video game's a video game. Maybe, they've tapped on something here, right? Like, we've heard that they are going more for the new No Mercy or the WCW, those old school games. So I'm like, okay, I enjoyed those games tremendously as well.
Okay.
But we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see how those pan out.
Yeah, we will also definitely do some sort of review or like playthrough or some exclusive. You never know, Mr. Young. We shall see what happens, right?
Yes, it's gonna be interesting times. But yeah, let's put a bow on AEW and the whole CM Punk situation. And I'm excited. I'm excited for the next blowout, the next press scrum. Not gonna lie.
Bro, we are here with the popcorn, all for the drama. Just ready, bro.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. Okay, let's talk a bit about Roman Reigns at this point. Let's pivot, and this past SmackDown, he got that new title. First of all, okay, Chet, do you like the look of the new title? I don't know who posted this, but this is damn funny. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Which one?
Raw used to have that red color WWE belt. Red belt with the W, right?
Yeah.
And then SmackDown has the blue Universal title with the W in the middle. And then now this one is black and gold with the W in front. It's like, excuse me, NXT black and gold?
so it is the new NXT championship, everyone.
Papa H is in charge, so it kind of makes sense, right? But what do you think of the title?
I'm not surprised. I'm slightly disappointed, but I'm not surprised. I mean, like, come on, they're not gonna change that huge SW on the belt. Or that's like free marketing and branding for them. It makes sense.
Okay, I'm a bit of two minds about it, right? Because of the fact that visually it's quite cool to have Roman Reigns come out holding two belts. You know what I mean? It makes him look more grand. Like, have you seen these boxers? They come out with like WBA, ABC, EFG, HIJ, all the different belts. It looks cool. Like, wow, this fella won belts in so many divisions and so many companies, right?
Yeah.
It makes him look cool. Now, I assume he's just going to come out with that one big black and gold belt. So it's not quite as cool. Like, and he used to come out with Paul Heyman holding one belt and then he hold one belt. Like, wow, it looks like a big deal.
Yeah, the presentation helps a lot. Yeah.
So I'm not too sure about it. Hey, who knows? Maybe he will come out with 3 belts.
Oh my god, no. Come on.
He keeps the other 2. Maybe give one to Solo and then he carries the main one.
No, I think that's a bit of an overkill. You got one guy, Seth Rollins, with 1 title, and then this Roman Reigns on the other show with 3 titles. Come on, that's a bit too much.
I'm actually quite like hesitant about that. Like, I would rather him hold 2 belts, make him look cool. But I get it. I understand. Like, also at some point, you can't have too many belts floating around already. Like, it gets a bit absurd.
Yeah, but like in terms of the look of the title, right? Like, I guess my hopes was a bit high because the World Heavyweight Championship, they literally brought back the design of the old gold belt and like modernized it a bit. So part of me wish like they brought back like the Winged Eagle design or like, a bit of the old Attitude Era Championship, and then like, they can have their W fine, but don't have to be so damn big. Like, can be just freaking at the top or at the bottom. But then like when they brought back the W, then I was like, it's just another color. Fuck lah. Like,
yeah, right. It's just yellow color. Yeah. Yeah,
but again, right, I don't really hate the design because we got that title right out of the spinner belt. And then ever since that, it's more or less the same design, right? That belt is clean, it's smooth, and like I feel like if you wear it at a Super Bowl or like you bring it out for like some talk show, people will like straight away recognize, oh, WW, yeah, that's the WWE belt,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
It makes sense from a business perspective.
Mm.
It's just that like I just wish that they, knowing Triple H, who loves his history, who would appreciate the Winged Eagle title, and you, of course, will appreciate the Winged Eagle title. Imagine if they recreated it in some form or another. That would be so dope.
From what I understand, the current Seth Rollins one is sort of like a combination between because there are eagles in that, big gold belt design with the W in the middle as well. So that honestly, the Seth Rollins one is still taking me a bit of time to get used to because the W in the middle seems very obtrusive. It's like it's like the big gold belt, but you go and dig one hole in the middle, put one W inside.
Yeah. Like I said, you're right. It takes a bit of getting used to, but like in some angles, right, when the light shines on it, it looks pretty dope.
Sure.
But
And
I'm clutching at straws, lah. To be honest, like
No, no. Okay, now you compare the two titles, right? The world title. Wait, so is Roman's title still called the undisputed title?
apparently it's still called the undisputed WWE Universal title.
Okay.
So
Okay. So and the other one's the world heavyweight title, right?
yeah.
Like just looking at the two, I actually like the Roman Reigns one because, like you said, it's cleaner. I have to get used to the color, but it's at least it's cleaner. It's the border with the W inside and the gold color inside, right? Versus
Yeah.
Seth, like I said, it's the old gold belt but with a giant hole in the middle.
Yeah, and I think after you get used to the yellow, or I guess it's the gold, right?
Gold,
When
yeah.
it shines, and you know how WWE likes to play with the lights and all that, I think
Mm.
it will look really, really impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem with that is that, yeah lah, you have to make a compromise lah. If you want the historical, like old school, very ornate design, then you can go and look at the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
If you are like the modern, okay, this is where I bring all the mainstream Saturday Night Live,
Yeah.
Super Bowl, then use that WWE title. Okay lah, fine, I can compromise lah.
Well, and also we all know lah, Roman Reigns is the Hollywood superstar potential guy. He's the one who's going to be doing all the talk shows. Yes, Seth will do some, but at the end of the day, Seth is more of the workhorse champion, and they portrayed him as such, like he's going to defend the title every single week, sort of a deal, right? Where Roman's is like once in a while show up, sort of a champion. So
Yeah.
I get it. I guess I get it.
Not gonna lie, right? I actually like every single champion that is in WWE. Those are the singles titles right now. Like you have Roman Reigns on SmackDown. You have Austin Theory on the undercard with the US title, and then over on Raw you got freaking Seth Rollins and Gunther. Those are like pretty good title holders per se.
And then you have the tag team champions Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. But bro, these are the men's titles. What about the women's titles? Okay, here's the thing, right? They still haven't addressed the issue of Rhea and Asuka.
Oh my god, yes, yeah. They're still on opposite shows, right?
Yeah, so like I don't understand why they haven't addressed this yet.
Yeah, because right now Asuka's Raw title is on SmackDown, and Rhea Ripley is a SmackDown champion, but she's on Raw.
Is it time so that to avoid this sort of like Raw and SmackDown women's champion, have one women's championship and have one I don't know Divas championship, or not Diva, I guess, the Mommy championship. No.
Okay, I agree with you. I think they should change the names. They shouldn't call it by the show. They should change the color so it's a bit more general. I wouldn't even mind, right? Like since Rhea's one is like with Raw and like Seth is the World Heavyweight title, why not call it the World Women's Heavyweight title? I think it would be pretty dope.
And then what? The other one is the undisputed
WWE.
Universal WWE. Like wow, a bit.
No need to do all the Universal part. Like maybe just the WWE Women's Championship, right?
Yeah. Div Royalty says Io and Asuka arguing in Japanese is awesome. Yeah, they tried to recreate a segment they had previously, if you remember.
Yeah, I saw somebody subtitle it. It's quite funny.
Yeah,
it's
quite funny.
Really quite funny.
So I don't know, man. Io versus Asuka for that title. At least Io is getting a bit of a shine.
Honestly, Io versus Asuka is actually a dream match in a lot of scenarios. So I wouldn't mind that for the SmackDown title. But who's gonna step up to Mommy? That's the question.
Well, you got to build them up slowly, one by one. You had Selena Vega. She had a bit of a shot. Really who? Bianca? Now that Bianca's freed up of her title?
Yeah, well, we shall see. We shall see. I mean, we don't want to dive too much into Raw and SmackDown because I feel like the funny thing about Raw and like WWE is fun and like
Mm.
you really love the storylines going into the shows, but I feel like the weekly episodes are skippable, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, like a lot of people just watch the YouTube highlights, which is, I know, like we are guilty of once in a while, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm guilty every week. It's just that if I find it interesting, then I will make the effort to watch like the full episode.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, again, like talk about Roman Reigns. We were talking just about the championship, but what about the Roman Reigns bloodline drama that came right after
Ooh.
SmackDown,
You
bro?
you know what? I love that they have proven me wrong time and time again. Going all
Mm.
the way back to, just slightly post pandemic, we're like, oh, okay, this bloodline thing getting a bit stale. And then Sami Zayn injected a year of storyline into it, right? And after Sami Zayn and WrestleMania, it's okay lah, now boring already lah. They're running out of steam. And then now we have the Jey Uso storyline, and then the brother turned on them with the Samoan Spike. I'm like, I did not realize I would be so invested again.
Yeah, and then like somebody, I think one of the WWE Instagram pages suddenly put the Captain America Civil
Oh, yeah.
War poster, and I'm like, yeah, this is it. This summer is gonna be the Civil War of the Bloodline. I think that's a pretty dope storyline to carry us through the summer.
Yeah, and it's a really good distraction. Like we know that, Roman's title is not at stake here, but it's about the story now more than anything, right? It's not about the title per se. So yes, he's gonna sit on the title, but beyond that though, like how do they continue making this relevant?
I feel like, bro,
Mm,
I have a crazy booking idea going all the way up to SummerSlam
okay.
that can tie in this whole Bloodline storyline and bring back a few of our so-called star performers from the previous storylines involving the Bloodline. All right.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Listen to me out. So like previously, it was all about Jay that's unsure whether to stay or leave the Bloodline. It was Jimmy trying to like convert him, right?
Mm-mm.
And now, of course, the tables have been turned. I think they've done a brilliant job in switching the roles of everyone. So now Jimmy is the so-called like the rebel, and
Yeah.
like Jay is trying to keep the peace.
Mm.
And then after Jay basically was trying to beg everyone to like calm down, and even Jimmy said like, let's forgive each other, let's run this place together.
Mm.
And when Roman Reigns gave the hug and he said no, I was like, oh shit, okay, I know this. We are gonna start some shit here. So of course we saw Solo turn on them. So the lines have clearly been drawn.
Mm.
The Usos against Roman and Solo, right?
Yeah.
So
But
now,
but at the end of
yep.
SmackDown, remember there's still that shot of Roman saying to Solo, saying to Paul, Jay knows what to do. He will do what he has always done, and that's
Yeah,
join me.
yeah, correct. So I feel like okay, the next big show is what? Let me see.
A Money
The
in the
next
Bank.
big show, Money in the Bank, right? How about this? So, of course, they will tease for a couple of weeks where Jay doesn't know what to do, right?
Yeah,
Jay
yeah.
is like, I don't know whether to
Conflicted.
go with my brother or go with blah blah. And then they're gonna book this match. It's gonna be Roman Reigns versus Jimmy Uso for the world title,
Oh
right?
God. Yeah.
Yeah. And then maybe they're gonna make like Jay have like a very like conflicted role right in the middle of it. Maybe they're gonna make him the special guest referee.
Well, why not a tag team match, bro?
No, the reason why I want to save the tag team match is because I have another booking idea for
Oh,
this.
oh boy. Here we go. Okay.
Okay, so hear me out. So they're still gonna put Jay in this precarious position where he doesn't know. He needs to decide whether to like call it down the middle, like cheat and let Roman win, or like stand up for his brother and give him
Mm.
the chance at the title. And then they're gonna make it like a loser goes home, or like Jimmy loses, he has to leave WWE or some crazy shit like that lah.
Yeah, yeah.
So of course Jimmy like goes toe to toe with Roman Reigns. They go bell to bell. It makes all the way till the end, and then when the time comes when Jimmy was supposed to win, Jay is like, I can't do it. I gotta listen to Roman Reigns, and then like Jay betrays Jimmy.
Oh my
So
God. Okay.
yeah, but not betray in like a very obvious way. Like
Yeah,
he
yeah.
doesn't do anything. Like for example, maybe Roman Reigns has like a steel chair or like has a freaking sledgehammer and he's gonna like destroy Jimmy. And like instead of Jay standing up for his brother, he just turns away and like he closes his eyes or something like that.
I
So
see. I don't know if that is something that his character would do because they protected each other before. If you're talking about like actually being destroyed by Roman Reigns, I think he would step in. I think that has always been the tipping point, right?
Or okay, then if that's the way, right? Maybe he wanted to save his brother, but just as he was like making the move to like protect him, he gets held back by Solo. So
Right.
he has to watch his brother get like chair shot to the head or what, and like he's basically done. He's gone. So his brother has been taken out of
Yeah.
action, right?
Yeah.
And that's when like he just loses it lah. So he
Mm.
goes on the rampage and like attacks
Roman.
Solo, and then like takes a chair and then attacks Roman Reigns. So okay, so going out of Money in the Bank,
Yeah.
like the last scene you see is like him helping his brother out of the arena, or like crying to his brother, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
while essentially Roman like escapes with the title, but he just got his ass handed to him by Jay. So now the story finally shifts to, it all goes back to Jay versus Roman again, with Jimmy out of the picture, right?
Right.
And of course Solo being that of course third party, the unknown quantity. While this is happening in the main event, guess who wins Money in the Bank, bro?
Solo or Sammy or Kevin? No, who?
Cody Rhodes.
Oh, right.
Okay, because I feel like even though there's a rumors is that Cody and Brock is gonna go to SummerSlam, I feel it should be Cody and Brock at O2 Arena at Money in the Bank as one of like the opening matches, or like one of the big matches lah. So he becomes like, he finally defeats Brock on Money in the Bank, and then he becomes surprise entrance and wins what do you call it?
Ooh,
Yeah.
Money
So
in the Bank.
now, yeah. So now Cody is the unknown quantity, right? And going into SummerSlam,
Yeah.
Jay versus Roman, it's set. So that means Jay is like, I'm gonna take him down no matter
Yeah.
what. I'm gonna take him for the title. And while that is happening, right, he has all his past opponents that he kind of betrayed for Roman Reigns come and step up to him and like, you know what, go do it. So like he has that one-on-one confrontation with Sami Zayn, and Sami Zayn now say, this is your time.
Yeah.
And then Cody Rhodes will be like, I'm gonna wait for you. You become the champion. I'm gonna fight you, and blah blah blah. So going to SummerSlam, the hype is all for Jay, and Roman is like left with literally just Paul Heyman and like Solo to defend him. He's vulnerable. He's like Voldemort after everyone take all the Horcruxes from him, bro.
Yeah.
Got no more soul left, Yeah. So my thinking is towards the end of SummerSlam, when it's Jay and Roman for the for the WWE Universal title at the main event, that is finally when one by one the final two leaves him. Paul Heyman runs back to Brock Lesnar, jumping off a sinking ship. Solo finally gets convinced by Jay, like, come back to us, and like maybe in the weeks leading up to SummerSlam, since Solo was the only one left, Roman Reigns keep bullying him instead.
Right.
Yeah, so like Solo gives the Samoan spike to Roman Reigns, like, fuck it, man. So now, right, Jay is literally inches away from winning the world title, but somehow, right, Roman still wins.
Okay. I mean, shit, that's beautiful. But the one thing that stops me from believing and buying this as the main event, as even happening to begin with, Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso, the marquee match at SummerSlam. Honestly,
Yes, I'm serious, bro.
no, I will have to disagree with you there. I mean, as much as that would be beautiful, it's not gonna happen. Like, yeah, okay, a lot can happen between now and SummerSlam, but I think the main event Jey Uso thing, even when it happened the first time, it was like, okay, I can, like, you can see this is a side quest. It's not a main event.
While I feel like that will tell the story full circle, I actually agree with Mr. Young. I agree with you to a certain extent. That is why, right, I book Roman Reigns to still win in that match. So Jay doesn't win outright and beat him for the title, but he gets a moral victory because Roman, in his effort to keep the world title, he loses everything. His family,
right?
He loses. Jay finally walks out like a renewed man. Like, I stood up to my cousin. So even though Jay loses, he can walk out with his head held high. And now Roman is in the middle of the ring with nothing but the world title, right? Guess what happens next?
What?
Adrenaline
in
my soul.
Okay, hang on. That's the other thing I have a problem with. I don't think Cody will ever cash in that way. I think Cody is the sort of person who will be like a John Cena. I will cash in, but I will tell you when the match is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, definitely in his character for him to like have like a very honorable
Yeah.
one-on-one
Like
match, right?
I really don't believe that Cody would cash in and be that like, oh, run in after, Roman has had that match. So as much as that sounds cool, I don't even think Cody should win Money in the Bank. I think Brock should screw him out of Money in the Bank. So we push this all the way even further.
I think that's a fair, fair reasoning as well. I think that could be another way they can go about it. The reason why I had this thought that Cody should cash in and like destroy and humiliate Roman once he loses all of his family members is because of that one promo that he cut right before WrestleMania. Remember he said like, you are gonna be a head without a table,
Right.
a chief without a tribe, and
Okay.
your family's all gonna leave you.
But at SummerSlam, why not at WrestleMania? Like,
Because again, WWE wanted to hit that 1,000 mark. I think they're just a stickler for that record, right?
Right,
So
right,
now
right.
that the 1,000 mark is there, I think they can start booking the end of Roman's title
Huh.
reign.
Huh.
And yeah, so even though yes, Cody with his character will want an honorable victory, I feel like it's almost he wants to punish Roman, like, okay, this is what you deserve, because yes, finally I've proven to you. You see, one by one, all your family walk away from you, and like as Jay is walking to the back, right, and then that music hits, right,
Yeah.
and like imagine they pass by each other on the rampway,
yeah.
and then Jay looks at him and like gives him the nod, like, yeah,
Like,
go for
do
it.
it.
This is your time. No one's gonna stop you. And yeah, I think that would just be like a great way. What do you think of that whole storyline, my brother?
I like it. I like the idea. I just don't think it will happen. I just don't think from a WWE booking standpoint that it will happen. I feel like the blow off will be at WrestleMania. Like obviously they're still angling for The Rock, right? And I mean, if you think about it, like okay, I like the idea of him losing family one by one by one. I also like the fact that you still have certain Usos dad to call upon if you want to
Yes.
thicken the plot a bit.
Oh
And
my
then
god.
what if Rikishi turns on Jay?
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. So I was thinking as well. Why don't like they bring back Rikishi for this storyline or like
yeah.
that would be really really cool. I wouldn't even mind like the wildsome moments like his father and his uncle. Like at the end when he loses everything, they all come out and they actually take and rip away the layer from him.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, you're no longer the tribal chief, bro. You have brought dishonor to the family. I think that would be really really dope.
I mean, obviously, the end game, the ideal situation is The Rock shows up at the end finally to challenge Roman Reigns, right? That's the money match at this point. Do
Yeah.
you think that's still on the cards, on the table at all?
I feel if Roman loses the title, then I think they can still book Roman versus The Rock without the title, because then the story is nothing about the title. It's more about legacy and the family.
But a bit sian already. You know what I mean? It does take a bit of the vibe off of it. Unless SummerSlam main event is Rock versus Roman Reigns. And then, Rock obviously can't win the title. Like, it makes no sense for him to win, right?
My only thing against it is because I feel like The Rock coming in is a bit like Captain Marvel, It's like
OP.
Yeah, like after everything happened in Infinity War, everyone died, then Captain Marvel come back, like a bit waste time, like why you come now, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like him coming at the end will only make sense when it's no longer about title, it's more about ending his reign in the family. So it's like a family feud, and that makes sense, right? For example, next year WrestleMania, right?
Yep.
One night can be headlined by the world, the WWE Universal title with Cody Rhodes on top fighting Gunther or whatnot, and then unfortunately Seth Rollins will be at the opening match lah, even though World Heavyweight Champion. And then the second night can all about the bloodline drama. So by this time when Roman fights The Rock, right, it's more of like the Roman has really lost the title. He's a man deranged and he just set out to destroy the bloodline, like every member of the bloodline, so that he can. So I guess what happens after SummerSlam will be one by one Roman like beats Jay until he just gone, or like everyone already disappear. Even Solo maybe the last stand to like defeat Roman, and maybe at the Royal Rumble they have a last man standing match, and Roman really destroys all of them, right? And then like no one left. He's like, okay, I'm just gonna be the head of this table
Yeah.
without anyone to rule. I don't mind being like a king without his kingdom, right?
Yeah.
And then The Rock comes back to defend the honor of the Samoan bloodline. That makes sense.
Foo, I like it. Foreign for Booker of 2023. I
Let's
mean,
go.
we forgot about one more Samoan.
Who, bro?
Joe.
Joe is like this one cousin that no one remembers at the other show. Like, poor fella.
He's the only Samoan that's not related to any of these guys. Oh, can you imagine if he actually was back in the WWE and he, like, oh man, the promos he could cut anyway. But that's really fantasy booking already at this point. So,
Didn't like Samoa Joe was like the only one that actually had Roman Reigns' number. I think that would be damn dope though.
Yeah, right. Obviously, the fact that we can book so many different scenarios goes to show that right now the WWE is in a very interesting spot. It's in a very good spot where, and to Papa H's credit, he's set it up where there are so many permutations that could possibly headline, right? Like you wouldn't mind seeing Jay versus Roman at this point, and maybe call me Vince, but I'm still not convinced that is the way to go. You still need bigger names and stuff like that. Tamina, walao, stop it. Tamina challenges Roman Reigns.
They might as well bring Nia Jax, right? Come on.
I'm not like Mo. Yeah, can you imagine at the end of SummerSlam and all that stuff happened already? Instead of Cody Rhodes, I'm not like most girls. What?
I think what's our brother? Our guy, he will go through another fit. Joe Corner Pro.
Oh, Joe, right.
Yeah, pro guy.
Yeah. So it is what it is. Like, I mean, moving ahead. Now the Bloodline saga has gotten even juicier. I'm sure at some point we will see Rikishi come back, and
I think so too. I think it makes complete sense for him to have some sort of part of it.
Maybe it can be a whole like, all right, Jay can't get Jimmy to come back to rejoin. Maybe Roman's like, call Rikishi, call your dad, and then he'll show up on Raw or on SmackDown, and maybe at some point Roman Reigns beats up Rikishi, and that could really be the catalyst that lights the fire, right?
Yeah, that's true. Oh, thanks, Fias. AEW hire this man. Appreciate it. Yeah. One thing they were talking about, like, how many Samoans can they drag out from the family that they can join, right?
Bro,
there's one big guy that is like on New Japan. There's one guy that's on MLW. All of this can factor to the storyline if they want,
Okay, but they are, see, that's the difference between AEW and WWE booking. AEW would absolutely do this type of shit and then bring in don't know who, but then the crowd would be like, the mainstream crowd wouldn't know who the hell these people are. The only reason this works with Jimmy and Jay, because Jimmy and Jay have been in the WWE forever. The audience knows who these two are, right?
Yeah, even bringing in Solo also was actually a risk, but they've managed to really elevate him as well.
Yeah, because they've told the story. He is the younger brother, blah 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 blah, right? And Paul Heyman. I never knew that Paul Heyman was instrumental with the Anoa'i family. Like he was a manager to them way back when.
Yeah.
To the
even managed the Wild Samoans as well for a period. Yeah.
But they told the story. WWE is very good at telling stories. AEW, if this were AEW, they would have expected you to understand and know that already.
It would have been anarchy in the arena between the bloodline.
And then exploding lay. They put the lay on something like boom.
No, bro, the head gone, bro. If you exploit the head,
finish him.
Oh dear God. Okay. But I think overall, like I said, if everything goes well for us wrestling fans, we have AEW, that whole storyline with CM Punk's return to tide us over in AEW, and of course this whole drama with the bloodline going over in WWE. It will be a great time for us wrestling fans for sure.
I think so too. And things are on the up and up lah. I mean, we got a couple of weeks to go before Forbidden Door. I'm not looking forward to Forbidden Door. I'm more looking forward to Money in the Bank at this point. But you know why.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, if you're a fan of Japanese wrestling and these sort of quote-unquote dream matches, I'm sure Forbidden Door will be an exciting pay-per-view as well.
Yeah, RCOW said there is a fourth Uso brother. Can somebody tell us who the is? Because I don't think I...
Isn't that the who?
Is it the Jacob Fatu guy?
Yeah, is it Jacob? Yeah, is it Jacob Fatu?
I'm not too sure, but somebody can tell us in the chat. But if that is the guy, then I know a lot of people are very high up on him. So And he's the guy that actually looked like a wild Samoan, bro. To be
But
honest.
like I said, you would have to tell his story then. And,
Mm.
I think WWE are okay lah. They can just... Eh, look, this is pro wrestling. This is a world where Kane and Undertaker are brothers. You mean to tell me you can't find somebody to join the bloodline and not actually have them be blood brothers? Come on. This is storytelling, right?
That's true. That's true. Okay, so we got 2 questions on the chat, bro. Let's answer both of them. So
Sure.
Rishi says, realistically, when will Reigns drop the title? According to you, what do you think?
You said SummerSlam, right? I would hold it all the way to Rumble or Mania.
Oh, okay. I think both. I think there's possibilities to tell the stories to extend until then. Okay, and Fias Grinder, how Uncle Howdy and the Fiend, how does he factor into all this, bro? How does it affect in the Howdy's legacy?
Okay, so I know already. I know how you can write this in, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have the Rikishi had a one-night stand with some random white girl from the swamp, and then they birthed Uncle Howdy and that whole clan, the Fiend and Bray Wyatt. And then he abandoned them in the swamp, and that's why Bray Wyatt is so messed up in the head. And then,
Ayo.
and so Bray Wyatt is actually part of the bloodline. And then we bring him into the bloodline, bro. That's it. That's Mr. Young for best Vince Russo of 2023.
Oh dear. Triple H will make Sami Zayn a believable member of the bloodline, but Mr. Young will make Bray Wyatt a
Yes, Mr. Young will make Bray Wyatt a member of the bloodline. You just watch.
Oh dear God. Okay.
At this point, I have no idea what is going on with Bray Wyatt, the Uncle Howdy, all that nonsense. Like obviously Bray Wyatt was a little bit too creative for WWE's liking, and seeing what he did with like the Uncle Howdy and all that stuff, I can see why. So at this point, like, we don't know what happened to him, right? Is he injured or does he need time off again?
I don't know whether he's taken off TV because I have a feeling it might be affected by our favorite girl, Alexa Bliss, unexpected announcement that she got pregnant, right?
Wait, but what does that have to do? Like, I know they're friends lah, but
No, because I feel that they were booking it in such a way where they are gonna bring them back together as like a package, like the Fiend and the Fiendess together.
But for all intents and purposes, you didn't have to make them come together. What? It's Bray Wyatt and then whoever. I mean, everyone assuming it was Bo Dallas as Uncle Howdy. Like literally, the two of them disappeared off the face of the earth.
Yeah, I'm wondering aloud as well, like what is the creative decision behind that, and how are they gonna realistically bring them back in and like explain everything? Because this Bray Wyatt, I think he got the best deal ever, bro. They make him give a amazing return. Yeah. He only had to do one match, in his entire run, this past run.
He's the CM Punk. He's the CM Punk of the WWE. Come in, ruffle some feathers, disappear.
Yes, yeah. And what his match was the pitchback. That was literally the only match he ever had, right? This past year.
They say, okay, I've heard this as well, right? They say he's ill or unwell, and that's what happened to him for Mania. That's why, very poor thing, Bobby Lashley, he didn't have a match. So, like, when you talk about unwell, like, are you talking about, like, I don't want to say too much because who knows, maybe he does have some sort of life-threatening illness, or is it mentally unwell, like, he wasn't in the right frame of mind. We have no idea. So it's very hard to even, talk about because we don't know what's the deal with him. Yeah.
I rather not comment as well if you're unaware of the full picture of the whole situation. But what I can say is this: I feel like if he returns, right, and he was already hinting on being more of a real character or like more reality based, I hope he leans into that and just be an old school wrestler. Be like freaking Brody Lee and just wrestle again.
He was doing it for a few weeks. Remember when he first came back and it was actually interesting?
Talking,
like he could talk you into a match where there was no match. He was literally going to wrestle himself and he talked you into it, right? But then it just dragged and dragged and dragged and dragged. And I don't know what it is. If it was a creative problem, if he himself didn't it cannot be that he called the shots on that because this is WWE at the end of the day, right? So you have to blame WWE at some point for this weird booking.
What if his feelings just got hurt because Brock Lesnar turned him down? It's
okay,
like
Then that one is like, okay, you're in the wrestling business, lah. Grow up, lah. If that's really truly the case, like I know, like there are rumors, right? Like, oh, Brock Lesnar turned him down, so he like, oh, cry. You know, his
That'd be
opponent
funny,
was
yo.
LA Knight. See, this is testament to LA Knight's bulletproofness or just how talented he is. He can bounce back from a shit feud like that and actually get. And the fact is, they booked LA Knight into the ground for whatever reason. Who don't know who doesn't like LA Knight there, but he's managed to get himself over despite that.
Yeah, bro, he's getting better, bro. If you watch SmackDown last week, he actually won his qualifying match in Money in the Bank.
And he got cheered.
Yeah, he got cheered. Even though like he's supposed to be the de facto heel, and apparently people are piping in boos for him. But that guy, I tell you, he's gonna be the breakout wrestler of this year, bro. Somehow.
I hope so. If he wins Money in the Bank, actually, you know what? I would love if he won Money. There you go. Rishi also agrees. LA Knight, Money in the Bank.
Yeah. Bro, I think it would be a great Money in the Bank career. I think the promos he can cut, like the kind of arrogance that he will. And bro, I think his song is stuck in my head. Every time I play WWE 2K, right? It's like GTA for me, man. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I also agree. I hope he wins Money in the Bank and then, they do something with him. And if anything, right? He doesn't have to be involved in the bloodline stuff. He can go and challenge Seth Rollins. If anything, right, this new World Heavyweight Championship that Seth Rollins has, it's quite obvious that it's very up for grabs and you could elevate so many deserving talent.
Yeah,
and Raw suddenly becomes super interesting.
Yeah, because finally they have a reason to fight at the top of the card, right? And they have a chance to elevate a lot of people. So, so I watched a bit of highlights from Raw this past week, and it seems like they are angling towards Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor for the title.
Sure.
Yeah, and apparently there was already a start of hints of dissension between the Judgment Day because Damian Priest was challenging the title tonight, right?
Yeah.
And then he said to I think maybe Seth Rollins was playing mind games and saying like how all of you can't even beat me without each other's help.
Right.
And then he said something like a throwaway line like, hey, I can beat you. I don't even need Finn's help. I can do it myself. And then Finn gave the look like, ooh, really?
What? Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then also it seems like with Finn involved in the world title picture, they might even bring Dominic as like a potential challenger, like a short feud. I think it's quite funny, like if that's the case.
It's funny. Remember that scene last week where he was like, maybe Dom will challenge, and then the crowd just laughed. The crowd just ha ha ha. It was.
The crowd would be like, no.
No, but he is such a good you definitely. You know what that is? That is like a Raw main event. You build up for a couple of weeks, Dominic versus Rollins, and obviously he's not going to win, but still.
But
plus, those two have had history before, don't forget.
Yeah, they've had actually a great SummerSlam match in the pandemic, right?
Yeah, wow. You took my dad's eye. I don't care about my dad, but
yeah. Everything leading up to that is quite funny. So yeah, I think Raw with Judgment Day as like the top heel faction is good. Don't forget they have Gunther. So Gunther apparently is like hanging around with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. So we might be seeing more interactions. We could even see like we know that the Sami Zayn and KO is gonna fight with the Imperium for the World Tag Team titles. But what if we transition to a Sami Zayn and Gunther feud? I think that would be pretty dope.
I think so too. Like, maybe KO takes
a good
break. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good landing point for them after the bloodline situation,
I mean, but if that's the problem with the Imperium faction though, right? Like right now you have one main guy and two lackeys. Literally have done nothing. Kaiser and Giovanni. What they call him? They just made fun of the fact that he was bald.
Previously his name wasn't Giovanni Da Vinci, it was like Fabian Eichner, right?
No, yeah, that was his old name. Now he's Giovanni Vinci. Oh, they call him Baldy,
Baldy.
Guy. Like, that's the thing. Like, they've been portrayed as nothing but jobbers and lackeys. So it's it makes more sense for Sammy or Kevin to go up against Gunther for the IC title. But what if because of Gunther, his lackeys win the tag team championships? Hold all the gold.
Well, that'll be interesting. And that's a way to elevate both of them because we don't deny. I think Ludwig actually got some personality hidden there somewhere in his born villain face. I think he can definitely elevate himself for sure.
Bro, he every time he does the introduction of Gunther, the crowd boo him non-stop.
Yeah,
it's only the Eichner, aka Giovanni. Like he literally stand there and do nothing, man.
I like his fashion model gimmick in NXT though. Where he had that very brief run as a fashion model. That was funny.
Yeah. They try to repackage him, right? And then like, yeah, I don't know about that though.
Yeah. Do you see their entrance though? I only just notice it. I don't know whether I'm very slow, but when Imperium does his entrance and like Gunther takes off his coat and then Ludwig catches it mid-air and twirls it around, right?
Yes.
It's fucking smooth and solid, bro. I love it. I just noticed it.
Then again, what is Giovanni doing? He doesn't even do that. He just stand there, act ball, doesn't say anything. And
Poor fella.
kinda called out by Kevin Owens for it. Hey, Irvin, welcome, man. Super late, no
Uh,
worries. You can always catch up video on demand on YouTube or listen to the podcast via Spotify.
Yeah, don't worry. Today is a very short episode. Actually, the time flew by. It's only 1.5 hours, but I feel we covered everything we needed to cover this week. Is there anything else on chat that you all want us to talk about before we move on?
I think that we've covered quite a lot already, and yes, we need a bit of a detox after last week, right? But
Yeah, for
as
sure.
always, if you want to talk about anything wrestling related, you can head over to our Discord channel. Link is in the bio. And
Yes.
no lah, Giovanni doesn't look like Johnny Sins. Come on.
Bro, like that, every single bald guy look like Johnny Sins. Come on, don't
Look,
stereotype bald guys, bro.
WWE already has a Johnny Sins, okay? And that is Adam Pearce.
Yes, literally. He's probably doing that as his side hustle, bro. He only just does commissioner work, so it's fine.
He is actually Johnny Sins' body double, huh?
Yes. Oh, yes. Somebody reminded me as well. Remember last week we talked about VPW Vietnam Pro Wrestling, right? I'm gonna give a shout out to them because actually, first they literally clip our that segment that we talk about them and gave Vietnamese subtitles to us and gave us a shout out. So thank you so much to Vietnam Pro Wrestling. And I heard our guys, the Ring of Rebirth guys, Eurasian Dragon and Big O Jack actually won the VPW Tag Team titles over there in Ho Chi Minh, bro.
Yes, I saw. Congratulations to them. They went over there and won as heels, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yes, it's really territory style, bro. Come here as faces, go there as heels.
Interesting. Okay, two more things. Irvin says Ludwig dating Tiffany Stratton. He win already. Wow, I did not know that. And yes, you are right. He absolutely has won. I watched NXT, by the way. Just to very quickly mention as well. It was a fun show. It's like
How was it?
it was a good alternative to AEW. But
Really? Okay.
it was a very good alternative to AEW. Tiffany Stratton definitely has it. Like, she has the Mandy Rose vibe. I don't know if she has the OnlyFans vibe, but she definitely has the Mandy Rose vibe. Athletic looking, beautiful woman, sort of a deal, right? And the Dragunov Dijak match.
So you watched it? You watched the NXT Battleground, is it?
Yes, I watched NXT Battleground.
How was it?
Here's the thing about that match. Like, we talk about this going back full circle, right? To like looking at someone like Dragunov, who is small and skinny, but he is lean and he is nutso. Like, you look at him, he looks like he will bite your face. He will go to all lengths to try to hurt you. There was this one spot I really thought was kind of overboard, but then I'm like, okay lah, I can buy it because his character he's just so crazy that he'll do anything, right? Where Dijak was like, he wasn't under the table, but he was like holding the table up like this, like like lifting the table off himself. And then Dragunov charges at him, headbutts through the table into Dijak. I'm like, what the? Like,
Who's that guy with the bald head? Is it the one that does 5,000 push-ups, 5,000 sit-ups, and then run 10 miles a day? Is that anime lah, bro? The botak head guy. I forgot what's his name, but
what, One Punch Man?
The One Punch Man. Is that him trying to be like One Punch Man? Like he can kick everything with his head or something? I don't know.
I don't know, but it looked ridiculous. He looked like he busted himself wide open with it. Like, or I think no, he cut his chin. Like he was bleeding from his chin. I'm like, wow, that seems a bit like
Bit too much.
Logically, it doesn't make sense. Why would you charge at somebody and throw your head through a table?
Unless your head is made out of iron and titanium, bro.
Bro,
You never know.
Russian. He's not Samoan. Only Samoans can do this. Don't try to steal Samoan. Okay, you know what? Ilya Dragunov is a member of the bloodline.
Yeah.
This is
No, the thing.
conclusive proof.
The thing about Ilya, right? He looks like he like a gargoyle. Like he just when you watch a horror movie, he's that demonic man child that can just bite you and kill you. So like if you're small but then you have that kind of aura, then okay, fine. We can kind of like look past it. So yeah, good for him.
Yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of the match. They beat the piss out of each other. Part of me wishes that at least like be for a title or something, like, you know, when he gets beat up by Gunther,
Ilya.
for example, at least it's for the NXT UK title or some damn title.
Mm,
This one is they just blood feud and then they beat the living piss out of each other. I'm like, oh my god! And then you see the bruises and the welts on them.
nice.
Woo.
Did you watch the past week's NXT though, or was it just Battleground?
No, I just watched Battleground. I didn't have time to watch the past week.
Maybe I can mention something. Apparently our dear friend Baron Corbin
I saw.
actually returned.
Yeah.
And I think he's in the main event or like attacking him, our guy Carmelo Hayes.
Well, it makes sense. You can't have Carmelo Hayes versus Braun Breaker over and over and over again. Like, you know, you need to give that a rest. And Carmelo Hayes needs a veteran to, you know, work with. And what has Baron Corbin been doing on the main roster? Nothing, right?
Nothing, right? I don't know whether they're gonna keep that happy Corbin gimmick or bring back his lone wolf gimmick from NXT, but that guy needs a new change of environment, so I don't blame him.
Yeah, like, you know, and Triple H is very happy to do it, right? Like, he's done so with Apollo Crews. You know, Apollo Crews is back on Raw. What the hell is he doing now? Don't know.
Yeah, poor guy. Oh, also another guy from that went back down to NXT after his very valiant effort in Saudi Arabia. Our guy Mustafa Ali is back in NXT. I think he has never really had a proper run in NXT. I think this might do him good actually, bro.
If I'm not mistaken, he was always a 205 guy. He was never on NXT. Like, he was rarely on NXT. So yeah, like, he doesn't have the NXT quote unquote history, right? So yeah, could be a good run for him. And if anything, let him be there to teach some of the new guys and, you know, show off a bit lah, you know.
Maybe him as NXT champion, I think would be pretty great veteran, like how Dolph Ziggler went down a couple of years ago.
Correct.
Yeah. Why not?
You know, work with Carmelo Hayes, and then maybe in the future they move back up together, and you know they can work together again. But anyway, so all that being said, I think it's time to put a bow on today's episode. Everybody, once again, thank you for spending your Tuesday afternoon with us. It's it's a busy month lah, because you know in the US it's summer, right?
Yes.
Start of summer, and in Singapore it's the school holidays. So like everything, all the big movies are out. All the big games, Diablo 4 launched today officially.
Nice. Gonna be busy then.
Yeah, oh my god, bro, I'm like up to my balls in, you know, content to create and games to play and things to watch. So
it's a good life, bro. Come on.
it is, but also at the same time, it's like, can wrestling hold my attention with all these other distractions? Like we've talked about before, it is a form of entertainment, right? And all these other things are going to distract you. Can it hold your attention? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, man. Well, for sure, I think what we can look forward to this June is probably, of course, AEW Collision, June 17. We'll definitely have to react to that. We'll see what CM Punk does. And I think end of the month, we'll have Forbidden Door. And July 1st is Money in the Bank. So that weekend will be interesting. So we have back-to-back. So 1 week it will be Forbidden Door. The next weekend it will be Money in the Bank.
And then there's AEW Fight Forever.
Oh my god, yeah. So let's just put it as the end of June is gonna be pretty packed. Couple of weeks for us on the podcast. But you know what? Maybe we can take a rest. You know, I think we get a detox for a bit. But we'll definitely be back to cover all this breaking news as well.
Absolutely. And if anything else, if our schedules get busy, you can always find us on the Discord or on our social media. So come and follow us on our social media accounts if you haven't already. Links are all in the description. All right, Div Royalty says, hydrate and take care. Everybody, please do that. The weather has been a little bit punishing, hot AF when it's not raining. So yes, drink lots of water, everybody.
Yeah, man. I just actually recovered from sickness. So I already succumbed to the crazy weather changes. So I hope everyone please take care of yourself, drink lots of water, and check out our Patreon, check out our Discord. Shout out to everyone on our Discord who keeps sending us wrestling news every single day. It's popping there every single day. So thank you guys.
Absolutely. All right. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. As always, it is Mr. Young.
And it's Foreign in the building. Take care.